On a hot September evening here in Los Angeles, Premier Boxing Champions get set for a full night of boxing. It is highlighted on Fox Sports PBC pay-per-view. A heavyweight slugfest between Andy Ruiz Jr., the former unified heavyweight champion of the world. He'll take on the world title contender, Luis King Kong Ortiz. Ruiz of Mexican descent, Ortiz of Cuban descent. That being a WBC heavyweight title eliminator later on in the evening. Our co-main event, a matchup between two Mexican lightweights. Isaac Pitbull Cruz collides against Eduardo Ramirez, that one also being an eliminator fight. But to begin the night, we have action in the heavyweight division as Devin Vargas, the 2004 Olympian, goes head-to-head against Prince Charles Martin, the former heavyweight champion of the world. Incidentally, Charles Martin coming off of a loss, a highly competitive matchup against none other than Luis King Kong Ortiz on New Year's Day alongside Felix de Jesus. To get the night started, we send it up to our ring announcer. Here is Miguel Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Crypto.com Arena here in Los Angeles, California, as Premier Boxing Champions presents an exciting night of boxing. It is all brought to you by TGB Promotions and Fox Sports, sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook. The three judges ringside for this bout are Sergio Caiz, Pam Hayashida, and David Sullivan. The referee in charge of the action is Jerry Cantu. And now Premier Boxing Champions presents 8 rounds in the heavyweights division. Introducing first in the red corner, wearing the red trunks, he weighed in at 243 pounds. With 22 victories, including 9 wins by knockout, opposite of 7 defeats. Representing Toledo, Ohio, here is Devin El Devastador Vargas. And now introducing his opponent across the ring in the blue corner, standing with the black and gold trunks. He weighed in at 250 pounds. With 28 victories, including 25 coming by way of knockout, opposite of 3 defeats and 1 draw. He represents St. Louis, Missouri. He is the hard-hitting and former world title challenger. Here is Prince Charles Martin. Once again, the referee in charge of the action is Jerry Cantu.
Gentlemen, you were given your instructions in the dressing room. I want a good, clean, hard fight. You will obey it all time. Touch them up. Good luck to both of you.
So we start off in the heavyweight division. We're going to start off in the heavyweight division, and Felix, we're going to end the night in the heavyweight division with Andy Ruiz, Chris, and also Luis Ortiz. Ruiz last fought Chris Arreola last May. For Luis Ortiz, he fought Prince Charles Martin in a thrilling matchup in Fort Lauderdale, Florida to begin the new year.
That's right, Ray. It's a pleasure again to be here with you, and we start right away with Martin, who basically needs a victory really bad.
Well, Prince Charles Martin, 3 losses, one of them coming at the hands of Anthony Joshua, the other to Adam Kovnatsky, and most recently on New Year's Day that you saw on Fox Sports PBC pay-per-view against Luis King Kong Ortiz. Devin Vargas, a 2004 Olympian, last fought over 4 years ago, incidentally, against Andy Ruiz Jr. Big straight left to back up Devin Vargas for Prince Charles Martin, and Martin being aggressive from the outset.
You need to recall that Martin was winning that fight against Ortiz until he received a left that ended that fight, but Martin, top heavyweight.
And I still think that Charles Martin could be a formidable force here in the heavyweight division. He just got clipped, and Luis Ortiz is a quality finisher. And a nice straight left to the abdomen by Charles Martin. Don't forget, we got 4 fights coming your way on pay-per-view, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific time. We'll start off with Jose Valenzuela matching up against the late replacement, Edwin De Los Santos. It was supposed to be Giselle Corrales, but insert now Edwin De Los Santos, the hard-hitting power puncher from the Dominican Republic. Also, the return of Abner Mares, the 3-division world champion. The last time Abner was inside the ring was back in June of 2018 in a rematch loss at the hands of Leo Santa Cruz. Then our co-main event, Isaac Cruz, Eduardo Ramirez, should be a compelling matchup. And then Andy Ruiz Jr. and Luis King Kong Ortiz. Felix, every one of 4 of these fights I'm very excited for.
Oh, wow. Very competitive, each one. Ortiz, of course, Cruz and Ramirez, and then Mares making his comeback against Flores, Valenzuela against De Los Santos. We're set for a great, great night here in Los Angeles.
And all you have to do is scan here on the barcode, use your phone and scan it, and lock yourself in for what is going to be an entertaining night of action. Also, to begin, you know, coming up in less than an hour on FS1, you'll see Ruiz colliding against Mike Plania. Alim undefeated, nice straight left to back up Devin Vargas, and look at Charles Martin go. He has been hurting Devin Vargas as Vargas languishing on the ropes, it seems like, Felix.
You know, definitely, and I don't want to say a journeyman, but 22-7 with 9 KOs. He still has some power. Devin has, but Martin right now looks to be in full control.
Well, this is a bounce-back fight for Charles Martin. Make no mistake about it, he's taking on a guy with over a 4-year layoff. But again, it's one of those things that for Charles Martin, he went and put himself on the line against Luis Ortiz and had a very good account of himself up until getting stopped. But now he is looking to get back in the win column, and then I'm sure he will no doubt try to get himself in line for a bigger fight amongst the division's elite. A straight left bouncing off the head of Vargas as we near the end of round 1.
Yeah, and you'll see it during the broadcast, during the pay-per-view, the way Martin got knocked out. It was very interesting.
Well, yeah, no doubt. He actually got his glove stuck in the top rope for a brief time during the first knockdown prior to him getting finished on the second finish.
And that's when you have a Luis Ortiz with so much experience. Can he handle the speed that Andy Ruiz is going to have tonight? He came in shape. So, I mean, I don't think it's going to go to 12 rounds, really.
Well, it's taking a look at some of the action here with Charles Martin and Devin Vargas, but I agree with you. Look, it's one of those fights that I think we're going to get back and forth action, and anybody can win. To me, I think it is very much, you could see a case for Andy winning the fight, you could see a case for Luis Ortiz winning the fight, but here's the bottom line, Felix. The fight's going to end in a knockout, in my opinion.
No, I totally agree with you, Ray. I mean, the force that Luis Ortiz has in his punches, Andy Ruiz with the speed. It's a fight you have to see to see the outcome, because you know, we've been in boxing for years and we can't right now say who's going to win.
It's one of those fights that I'm not going to lie to you. It took me to about 3 in the morning to go to sleep because I was that excited. And you know, when you kind of have that kind of anticipation, you know that it's something special. And I do believe that both men here at Crypto.com Arena, formerly the Staples Center, something about this place where you always tend to get a war. It's giving me that kind of vibe tonight. Hopefully both men will come out and do exactly what we anticipate them in.
And the other 3 fights that come before that fight, I mean, how can you not like Isaac Cruz? He had a war with Gervonta Davis. And Ramirez has won 5 in a row.
And listen, the fact that Ramirez and down goes Vargas. No knockdown, so says Jerry Cantu, but Charles Martin's like, wait a minute, what happened here? Vargas taking himself some time to get up to his vertical base, but
he's leaving himself wide open now, right?
Well, I think Charles Martin needs to go out there and really turn up the heat and try to finish off Devin Vargas. And it would appear that Vargas's best days could be behind him. But again, in the heavyweight division, you got to be cognizant at all times.
No, definitely. One punch could end it, although Martin seems in full control in this fight. Vargas trying to come back, and just upper combinations from Martin that knocks him down again.
And Vargas, another no knockdown per Jerry Cantu. And don't forget, coming up in less than an hour on FS1, it'll be Ruiz Ali, most notably known for his fantastic victory over Vic Pasillas. He will take on Mike Plania of the Philippines. Plania has won 11 in a row. Then 1 hour later, coming up at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific time on Fox, it'll be Joey Spencer, who has been the PBC Prospect of the Year on a couple of occasions. He goes head-to-head against Mexico's own Kevin Salgado. Salgado vowing he believes he has all the power necessary in order to finish off one Joey Spencer.
You have a long night, Ray. Starting with, of course, these fights here, and then you got the pay-per-view, then FS1 and Fox. We're packed today.
Look, this is what we do on Labor Day weekend. PBC ending the summer with a bang, literally and figuratively, and I'm very excited for what is to come. The fight that really has me, and as you're seeing Charles Martin tee off on Devin Vargas, the fight that I'm pumped about, a variety of them, Well, back comes Vargas with a nice left hook.
Yep.
Isaac Ruiz and Eduardo Ramirez, they don't like each other. Ramirez has challenged. You were on stage with me during the weigh-in, and it got rather tense up there.
Oh, they both want this fight, especially Cruz. He wants to show that fight with Davis was not a fluke, that he's a real-time fighter. He showed it against Gamboa, but now he wants to show it against Eduardo Ramirez.
As we near the end of the second round with Charles Martin in complete control against Devin Vargas, the 2004 Olympian, I got to say, Isaac Cruz has developed this cult-like following from the Mexican fan base. We did the media workouts on Wednesday on Olvera Street, a street that is very well known with Mexican restaurants and having a great deal of Mexican tradition here in LA. And the fans swarmed him. I mean, the kind of reception that Isaac Cruz got was just second to none. There is such a passion towards Isaac Cruz, and largely he gained that in his losing effort here against Gervonta Davis last December.
There's a few things in regards to the Mexican community. They want you to take on all comers, and Isaac Cruz has not told anybody, hey, I'm available. If the fight's right, well, let's take it. So they love that, and they know he's a warrior, and he just comes out aggressive to fight against anybody.
And listen, the one thing, and I told Andy Ruiz in the lead up to this fight about how excited he is, he goes, listen, to all the fans out there, get your carne asada, get whatever beverage you want, get your cervezas if you're 21 years in age and older, you know, enjoy the barbecues. I know barbecues are going on all over the country here on this Labor Day weekend, so sit down, relax, enjoy your food, specifically some carne asada. Nobody makes it like my father, but enjoy it because we have a full slate of boxing coming your way throughout the course of the afternoon and the evening.
And the way he looked at the weigh-in, it looks like he's waiting till this fight is over to have some carne asada. So.
No doubt about it, yeah. Well, you know what? He weighed in. I'm glad you brought that up, Felix, because Andy Ruiz, as you're just seeing Charles Martin in complete control against Devin Vargas, Andy Ruiz weighed in at 268. That was the same weight that he weighed in when he defeated Anthony Joshua back in June of 2019 to become the unified heavyweight champion of the world. So my observation is that, to me, 268 is a sweet spot for Andy Ruiz Jr. Will that be the case the second time around at that weight? We'll find out later tonight against Luis King Kong Ortiz.
Yeah, speaking with his nutritionist, he said between 265 and 270, Andy will have his speed. That's where we want him, and that's where he's at.
Well, I was in camp with both Luis Ortiz and Andy Ruiz over the past several weeks in the lead up to this fight. As a minute has elapsed in this third round, both men looked in supreme physical condition, and both men were hitting the pads very hard. Now, granted, they were pads, but still, the kind of thuds I heard from both men, just like Charles Martin just unloaded a straight left to the abdomen of Devin Vargas. I mean, look, it certainly made me take note.
No, yeah, and Ortiz, of course, 43 years old. This might be his last hurrah, so he wants to show up today and tell him that I'm still a factor there. That was a slip.
Yeah, that was a push down for Devin Vargas. Great to be here at Crypto.com Arena, formerly the Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles. It is, right hand for Vargas, as Vargas starting to gain a little bit of offense as Martin now goes backwards.
Yeah, I think gave him a little confidence here, this barrage now that Vargas is demonstrated against Martin.
Is Devin Vargas trying to turn back the clock and regain some of that fountain of youth? We will see.
Oh, is there a low blow there? Oh.
Uh-oh, that's below the belt.
He can take 5 minutes now.
Yes, upwards.
He's going to take a while. Looked like it definitely hit him hard there, below the belt.
Taking a look at it again, Felix.
Yeah, they were squared off right there. And,
oh boy,
yeah, it was right there under the belt. So he felt it right away, Vargas. Tough fighter. And let's see now. He's up, which is good. It's a bounce around a little bit and back to fighting.
53 seconds remaining in the third round. This one is scheduled for 8.
All right, they're ready to go. Jab working well for Martin.
Good jab there for Charles Martin. And Martin jabbing. You know what's interesting, Felix, as I look at the odds for this fight with Andy Ruiz, Luis Ortiz, Andy Ruiz is nearly a 4-to-1 favorite. Luis Ortiz is nearly a 2.5-to-1 underdog.
And I guess because it's been talked about that people want to see Ruiz against Wilder. That could be a possibility. And maybe Ortiz's age, but I would throw that away. I mean, Ortiz looks very, very good. Weigh in.
There's a left hook for Devin Vargas, followed by a right. Well, what's interesting about that, Felix, is that both Andy Ruiz, Luis Ortiz is a WBC heavyweight title eliminator. Also, October 15th, Deontay Wilder, Robert Helenius is a WBC heavyweight title eliminator as well. So in theory, you would think, based on what we are looking at from the sanctioning body of the WBC, that the winner of these next two fights with Ruiz and Ortiz and Wilder and Helenius will likely be on a collision course. Again, that is not necessarily set in stone, but that is what is being led by the WBC, the sanctioning body here.
Yeah, well, no, we mentioned the name Wilder, but he has a tough task ahead of him. That's going to also be on Fox pay-per-view. That's coming up in October. I mean, Helenius looked great in his last two fights.
He did, smashing Adam Kovnatski.
Took him basically out of boxing already. I mean, Kovnatski was up and coming, and Helenius had different ideas about that, and now he's fighting Wilder.
Well, Andy Ruiz's father said if they get past Luis Ortiz, then the matchup that they want, assuming Wilder is victorious on October 15th, is that against Deontay Wilder potentially on Cinco de Mayo weekend. Can you imagine that potentially in, I don't know, Las Vegas, so to speak, Felix?
That would
Sounds
be nice.
to me like a nice little destination for that fight.
Yeah, definitely.
But a lot has to happen before you even get to that. And listen, Luis Ortiz, not easy. I think to me it's a 50-50 fight. The only thing I can promise you is I'm staying at the JW Marriott. I think I need to get the front office staff to bring a blanket and a pillow because someone is being put to sleep tonight in our main event, my friend.
And they'll do well with those pillows.
Oh, yeah. Hey, very comfortable pillows, by the way. But nothing that I want to wake up looking up at the lights here at Crypto.com Arena. But that is in a few hours from now, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific time. Join us for the pay-per-view. All you have to do is scan right here to buy the pay-per-view. Literally, we make it easy for you. You can buy the pay-per-view in the palm of your hand.
Now just to put the phone, right? Boom,
That's it.
And
Boom.
you get it. Wow.
Hook it up to your smart TV and you're good to go.
Nice.
Nice straight left by Charles Martin. But Martin has been dominating for the most part this fight against Devin Vargas. Vargas is no doubt, I like to say, a cagey veteran, but it's obvious that Martin has youth on his side and is just he's in a better stage of his career.
But in all fairness, I mean, Martin, I thought he was going to have a little better showing. He needs one to get back to be relevant,
yeah.
And Vargas is hanging in there.
Yeah, Vargas is coming forward. He gained some confidence in that third round, and now he continues to apply the pressure. There's a right hand as now he's trying to back up Charles Martin. Martin looking to get crafty.
Oh,
big
that one.
left uppercut.
That
and now
done.
Martin is starting to take control, busting up the face of Devin Vargas. I'm just glad we're not literally sitting at the apron because I would hate to get any DNA on my tuxedo. And this one is over. Charles Martin has wiped out Devin Vargas in the fourth round with just over a minute to go. And that was a solid performance from Charles Martin. Devin Vargas, no doubt, was aggressive, but Martin finished him off, turned up the heat, and away he went as Charles Martin elevates his record to 29-3-1. And Felix, literally, it's almost like he hurt you because you were saying you almost were urging him to pick up the pace, and literally 2 seconds later, he did that.
Yes, he needed that fight, his KO number 26 in his career, and now he's relevant again. Now we can say, you know, let's see what Martin has to offer in another fight. We want to see him again.
If you could forecast stoppages like that, Felix, can you forecast the weather? How's it going to be like tomorrow here in LA? But talk us through the finish of the fight, Felix.
I think it might be sunny. I mean, he saw an opening. He was cut already, was Vargas, and then he just unloaded, did Martin. And the referee did stop it at the appropriate time.
So Charles Martin elevates his record to 29-3-1, 26 knockouts. He gets back in the win column to make it all official. We send it up to ring announcer. Here's Miguel Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes at 1 minute and 59 seconds of round number 4. For your winner by knockout, Prince Charles Martin.
So Prince Charles Martin victorious against the 2004 Olympian Devin Vargas, and I like the way, Felix, that he turned up the heat in that fourth round. He worked on some things, but he went ahead and he finished off Devin Vargas, getting back in the win column. And look, I'm looking forward to seeing what's next for Charles Martin. He's a southpaw, he's athletic, he can pop. I think that there are bigger fights in store for him, and I'm looking forward to seeing what is immediately next for the man known as Prince Charles Martin.
He needed this after being knocked out by Ortiz. Now he comes back with a nice little victory, and things are looking up.
Well, yes, things are looking up, and we want to make sure that you are taken care of all night long. All you have to do is go ahead, scan to buy the pay-per-view, Fox Sports PBC pay-per-view, Andy Ruiz Jr. and Luis King Kong Ortiz. Ruiz known as the Destroyer, Luis Ortiz, King Kong himself. Will the Destroyer finish off King Kong, or will King Kong finish off the Destroyer? That being the operative questions.
No, and it's a pay-per-view, the last big event before Labor Day is over, so you have your little barbecue, and then mostly everybody goes back to work on Tuesday, so this is the time to buy.
And essentially it's a Sunday, but it's essentially a Saturday. Why? Because typically you don't have to go to work tomorrow,
Yeah,
so you
exactly.
can enjoy and relax and enjoy whatever beverage and food you want. But also coming up in less than an hour, you got Ruiz Salim and Mike Plani in the super bantamweight division. That'll be on FS1, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific time, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific time. Joey Spencer, Kevin Salgado, both of them unbeaten at 154, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific time. The pay-per-view. We'll start off with Jose Valenzuela, Edwin De Los Santos, Abner Mares returning to the ring, the 3-division world champion against Miguel Flores. Miguel Flores, that's not being my brother. My brother's inside the ring as the ring announcer for our first two prelim fights. Isaac Cruz, Eduardo Ramirez, two Mexicans going at it, a lightweight title eliminator, and then Andy Ruiz Jr. and Luis King Kong Ortiz. Inside the ring now, you have Anthony Garnica from Oakland, California, 9-0-1. His record of 5 knockouts, training under the guidance with Team Ruiz, Andy Ruiz and company. As he has 5 wins coming by way of knockout, he will take on the 27-fight veteran in Juan Lopez to get our next matchup started. This one in the super bantamweight division. Once again, here's Miguel Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, we continue the action from Crypto.com Arena. Once again, it is all brought to you by TGB Promotions and Fox Sports, sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook. The 3 judges ringside are Sergio Caiz, Pam Hayashida, and David Sullivan. The referee in charge is Jose Colbian. Premier Boxing Champions now present 6 rounds in the super bantamweight division. Introducing first in the red corner, wearing the black with gold trim. He weighed in at 127.6 pounds. With 17 victories, including 7 wins by knockout, opposite of 10 defeats. Fighting out of Fort Worth, Texas, here is Juan the Wolf Lopez. And now introducing his opponent across the ring in the blue corner, wearing the baby blue trunks with the white trim. He weighed in at 123.4 pounds. His record stands 9 victories, including 5 by knockout, opposite of no defeats and 1 draw. Representing Oakland, California, here is Anthony Garnica. Once again, your referee in charge of the action is Jose Colbian.
Vargas, I already give you instructions on the
So Anthony Garnica, who's undefeated, 9 wins, no losses, 1 draw, trained under the guidance of Alfredo Osuna, who incidentally is the new trainer for Andy Ruiz. This is Osuna and Ruiz's first fight together, but Anthony Garnica, he's undefeated. His last 2 wins have come by knockout and TKO. A knockout win over Ira Terry in May. Then he followed it up with a TKO victory in the 3rd round over Genaro Rodriguez, taking on Juan Antonio Lopez, 17-10. He is 28 years of age, from training in Dallas, Texas. He has won 2 of 3, but he's coming off of a knockout loss at the hands of the previously unbeaten Floyd Schofield.
Speaking with Alfredo Osuna, of course, training Andy Ruiz Jr. for this fight. A lot of work with Southpaw during training camp for Ruiz Jr., and that's his specialty. He had Orlando Salido for a while, so that's probably been taken care of during training camp on how to fight a Southpaw for Andy Ruiz Jr., which is going to be his first one in professional fighting.
Well, the one thing that they said, Andy Ruiz and his entire team, they said that they have been trying to work with Alfredo Osuna over the past several years, but for some reason or another, it didn't happen. But now that they are finally together, they said that Andy learned a lot under Eddie Reynoso, but now they're with here Alfredo Osuna. And Osuna was very athletic and actually got in the ring to hold the pads for Andy, working with Andy on a variety of different things, him being a southpaw. So as you see with Anthony Garnica, who is using his jab as he takes on a fellow southpaw, or another southpaw in Juan Lopez from Dallas.
Yep, probably the same training for both, just different weights, of course, bantamweight and heavyweight.
Nice combination there by Anthony Garnica. Garnica, I like what we're seeing so far. Good straight punches, he's fast, he's relaxed in the pocket, solid defense, parrying away shots as well, Felix.
No, definitely. Garnica showing a lot, of course, undefeated, 9-0 with 5 KOs. But going back to Ruiz Jr., and that's the pay-per-view that you need to buy tonight because it's going to be a great fight. Both of them said that, well, you know, we trained, but once we get hit, things might change.
Look, Luis Ortiz has been telling me throughout the entire lead up to this. We did a kickoff press conference literally here on the top of the roof of Crypto.com Arena about a month and a half ago, and Ortiz said, this fight's not going to go the distance. I'm either going to knock him out or he's going to knock me out. I asked Andy Ruiz, he goes, look, we trained for 12 rounds, but likely someone's going down tonight. So the one thing is it's pretty much a foregone conclusion, as close to a guarantee as possible, that we're probably going to get a finish or we're probably going to get something crazy. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the pandemonium, because you don't want to be on Monday tomorrow and people talk about how great this fight was.
No, definitely, and it's the way the grit both of these fighters have, they might be knocked down and come back up. You never know.
Look, and also what I do know, though, Felix, as we near the end of round one, Anthony Garnica in control against Juan Lopez, is that we're in Hollywood. High drama. They love to write great scripts. And guess what? I think we're going to get one of those seesaw fights where you're going to be like, ooh, ah, whoa, oh, man, whoa, he came back. Oh, no, wait, he's down. No, he's back, this and that. That's what we're going to get.
Wow, we get, which is probably true. We're going to get one of those fights. This is going to be incredible.
You do not want to miss it as we take a look at some of the craftsmanship from Anthony Garnica from Oakland, California, training under guidance with, boom, nice right hand there by Garnica.
Couldn't get that left in. Good Lopez, and something that Garnica took advantage of. And here inside, nice jab, came back with a hook. He's a prepared fighter in Garnica today, fighting a veteran. Not the best record in the world, but Garnica getting his work done and seeing if he can take it to another level.
Yeah, Juan Lopez has fought the likes of Raymond Ford, also Isaac Avalar, lost to Mike Planium, Rico Ramos as well. So, you know, he's been in there against some formidable competition. And I think it's interesting that he did fight Mike Plania. And incidentally, Mike Plania is up next as he will take on Ruiz Salim. You could check that out coming up at the top of the hour on FS1.
So for FS1, Fox, the little appetizers for the pay-per-view. And you get 4 fights on pay-per-view.
Yeah. I got to tell you, man, speaking of appetizers, I had a wonderful meal last night at Beauty in Essex. Got some great appetizers. We got some appetizers from the boxing variety.
getting the plan together. If yeah. 4:40, yeah, and then we come right back and then yeah.
Lean, right?
No.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, right here, man. No.
No, he's right there.
Oh, it's in there. Yep, sorry.
About this fight is both men have shown a propensity to get hurt, put on the canvas from knockdowns, rise up and come back and win the fight in spectacular fashion. So that's why I think this fight's going to be a seesaw fight. I could see a point in this matchup with Ruiz and Ortiz where Ruiz is hurting Ortiz and then goes in for the finish, then Ortiz clips him, then he has Ruiz hurt, then Ortiz goes in for the finish and he tries to finish off Ruiz and then Ortiz hurts him again and we go back and forth like that. I'm telling you, that's what I think we're going to see.
Is this what keeps you up at 3 in the morning?
That's why I'm so excited. Just like, where do I go? Oh my gosh, like, you know, tossing and turning and everything else. Like, how can it go this way? How can it go that way? I mean, that's why I'm so excited, and I hope that all of you are going to join us because I promise you, this is a guarantee. If you miss this fight, you're going to regret it because as a sports fan, enjoy this. And no better way than 1 week before the NFL football season to enjoy a night of boxing to keep you entertained.
You just have to put your phone against the TV and then scan it right there and you got the pay-per-view. It's easy.
It's the easiest thing in the world. Are you kidding me? Right in the palm of your hand.
4 great fights then for pay-per-view. We're seeing the second fight. Martin won the first fight against Devin Vargas to start out our night. Now let's see what happens here. Garnica is controlling the action up to now.
Yeah, Garnica, I like what I'm watching from Anthony Garnica. He's very relaxed and, you know, very sharp. Good uppercut there. Good left hook by Anthony Garnica.
There's a game plan that Alfredo Zuna has with Garnica, and he's taking full advantage of it. Can Ruiz Jr. do the same?
Well, I mean, listen, Andy Ruiz and his entire team, they believe that Alfredo Osuna is the guy to lead them to victory over Luis Ortiz. But now Juan Lopez going right after Garnica. Look at Juan Lopez go. He is really turning up the heat here against Anthony Garnica. But back comes Garnica. Beautiful left uppercut, followed by a left hook from Garnica, the undefeated prospect.
Hook jab on Garnica. Then he'll throw the right every once in a while. Kid has a lot of in his arsenal right now. Has a nice hook jab too.
70 seconds remaining in this fourth round between Anthony Garnica and Juan Lopez. Lopez, a 27-fight veteran. He does have a winning record of 17-10, but he's certainly making Anthony Garnica work in this, our fourth round.
People are traveling from far away. I just got a text here from Minnesota.
Minnesota,
they're coming down here to see this fight.
I wonder if that's our buddy Ranger Rollins. So
probably,
who knows? He's a huge PBC boxing fan, no doubt about it. People are here from Philadelphia as well, literally traveling across the country here to Los Angeles for tonight's event.
Well, Lopez still being aggressive, coming in.
You see the father, Andy Ruiz Sr., in the front row wearing the Mexican soccer jersey, supporting their fighter, Anthony Garnica.
He has a big fight coming up with his son, but this one is big for his camp too.
It's a good way to start all things if, from a victory standpoint, if he's successful. A left hook to the body, but Lopez shrugged it off, and we head towards the fifth.
Give a quick rundown then for the pay-per-view fights. We got Valenzuela starting it off with Edwin De Los Santos, then Abner Mares against Miguel Flores. Third fight will be Isaac Cruz and the co-fight against Eduardo Ramirez, and of course heavyweights Andy Ruiz Jr. against Luis Ortiz will be the four fights, the card for tonight on the Fox pay-per-view.
And before that, on FS1, coming up at the top of the hour, Ruiz Lima, undefeated, 19-0, 12 knockouts. He'll collide against Mike Plania, who is 26-1, riding an 11-fight win streak. Plania having defeated Juan Lopez, who is inside the ring against Anthony Garnica. And then live on Fox, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific time, a matchup between two unbeaten super welterweights. The PBC Prospector of the Year on 2 occasions, Joey Spencer in action, 15-0, 10 knockouts, his most difficult challenge to date as he takes on Mexico's own, another fellow unbeaten fighter, Kevin Salgado. Salgado believing he has all the tools necessary in order to knock out Joey Spencer. Spencer said, I'm going to get the win regardless and move on to take on the division's best at 154. He feels like he's ready for that next step up.
Well, people have wanted to see more fights or more even balance where you really can't tell who's going to win or who's going to lose, and that's what we're offering tonight. Each fight could be winnable by either side.
No, especially in our main event. I mean, I'm debating who's going to win. Who do I, give the advantage to? And to me, it's a 50-50 fight because I can make a case for either guy to come out with the W.
Yes. Of course, Ruiz Jr. is favored in this fight, but Ortiz with one punch could change that pretty quickly.
Going back to action here in the fifth round, Anthony Garnica taking on a very determined 27-fight veteran, the 28-year-old Juan Lopez from Dallas, Texas. I like fights like this for a young prospect, and typically you don't get to see them, but thankfully to the PBC on Fox social media stream, you're able to watch it because these are the kind of fights where younger fighters develop. They get better dealing with the kind of aggression where a guy's not going to go away from them after eating a couple of heavy shots from their opponent.
Yeah, they can look back and say, okay, this is where I need to work more. This is where I did a real good job. So it's, like you said, extremely important for them to see these fights.
Just over the midway point of the fifth round, as Garnica looking to fight with his back off the ropes, and he comes back and he staggers Lopez with a beautiful left hook followed by a right. Andy Ruiz's father urging on Garnica to come forward. Another right hand, and Lopez says, come on, let's go.
Both of them aggressive here, the fifth round.
Well, we're seeing the bravado and the machismo being exhibited from both men. If you think that is a sign of things to come, we have Abner Mares, Miguel Flores, Jose Valenzuela, Edwin De Los Santos, Isaac Cruz, Eduardo Ramirez, and obviously the heavyweights, Ruiz and Ortiz. Beautiful right
nice
uppercut
combination
by Garnica. Oh my goodness. What does Lopez have in his chin? Titanium steel?
Yes, definitely. Oh, another one.
Look
It was
at
a straight
this.
right. Combination, holding on is Lopez. This is a fight.
Man, that guy is eating right hands and uppercuts like how I do appetizers when I go to a nice restaurant. My goodness, Felix.
Like the appetizer.
Like last night, for that matter. You know what I mean? You kidding me? Holy smokes.
Oh, nice combination there by Lopez. It was a tough fight for Garnica.
Hey, Lopez is making him work. Garnica, I think, has the advantage, no doubt. But, oh, my goodness. I like seeing this. One more round to go.
It's a full house today. Just want to thank the people that have helped us to put this event out here. This little appetizer before we go into Fox. Of course, the Fox people, Zach Kigman, B. Stanford, Jessica Toll, and the producer, Sam Rubinoff, a great job. The engineers, Brandon Gabrielsi. Also, Lamont Phillips is the other engineer. Technical director, Jason Savitt. Thank you guys for being with us here. Graphics was Andy Jansen. The A1 is Jeff Frickman, and replay, Joe Alvarez.
Yes, greatly appreciate our fine staff. Also want to thank our very own Zach Kidman as we take a look at some of the action here from Garnica and Lopez, Felix.
Yeah, in the corner. Smart move there by Garnica to get out of the ropes. Take him to the middle of the boxing ring right there. And there he fared well. They both shake hands knowing this is the last round.
Yeah, sixth and final round. Here we go here at Crypto.com Arena. Also want to thank Zach Kidman. Want to thank Tom McNeely. Want to thank B. Stafford. She did a great job. Jessica Tola as well. What a wonderful staff that we have here with the PBC on Fox staff.
No, definitely. Just on top of everything. And everybody's excited about the pay-per-view.
Oh, no doubt about it. That is coming your way in just over 2 hours. Andy Ruiz Jr., Luis Ortiz. The one thing that I know when it comes to people asking about if you're a fight fan, whatever, they're like, hey, how's the heavyweight division doing? Well, guess what? The heavyweight division is really fun right now. And this fight in our main event, oh my goodness, someone's going night-night. And I'm telling you what, they're not being tucked in because it's their bedtime. It's because they're getting blasted with heavy shots later tonight in our main event.
And the good things with heavyweight is, you know, you can feel it. Seeing it on pay-per-view, you can, tough punch, you can hear it. Boom. The way they go down, it's very interesting.
And you know what's interesting, Felix, is that 6 weeks later, in 6 weeks' time, we come back. Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Deontay Wilder, the Bronx Bomber, former heavyweight champion of the world. Guess what? He's back, taking on the Nordic Nightmare, Robert Helenius, who looks like a villain from a James Bond movie.
Yeah, can he take that Wilder punch? Will it be back, Wilder's punch? But that's for another day. Today is the big heavyweight fight between Luis Ortiz and Andy Ruiz Jr., and you have time still to order it.
Very easy. Just do it in the palm of your hand. It's that simple. Scan of eye. The pay-per-view just over the midway point, the sixth and final round with Anthony Garnica and Juan Lopez.
Right there in the center of the ring. That's where Garnica needs to stay.
This is why I love watching fights like this. When PBC comes to your town, get to the building early because you see fights like this. Tom Brown, the president of TGB Promotions, and his entire staff, they do a great job of matching even fights up. That's why to build these kids to where when they do get ready for a title shot, they're able to perform at a high level.
Yes, and that's what we're seeing, I guess, last 2 or 3 years. It's just good competitive fights. Every fight.
Well, final 41 seconds of our prelims here as Anthony Garnica, no doubt, taking on a very aggressive and determined Juan Lopez. But Garnica, I would figure, has the advantage from our standpoint, Felix.
No, definitely. I think Garnica's going to learn from this fight is maybe not starting out too fast.
Yes.
And pacing himself because he kind of not really died down, but a little bit compared to the way he started this fight.
Final moments of the sixth and final round. A learning process as Anthony Garnica looking to crack double-digit victories and remain undefeated against Juan Lopez.
Oh, that's zero. That's every boxer wants that zero. They don't want to be defeated.
No doubt about it. And Garnica ending with the flurry going right after Lopez, and they both have a sign of respect. But we will go to the scorecards. And coming up top of the hour, Ruiz, Mike Ponte on FS1. Then at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific time, Joey Spencer and Kevin Salgado. And then the pay-per-view coming your way at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific time. 4 compelling matchups on the way, including Andy Ruiz Jr. and Luis King Kong Ortiz.
And of course, Edwin de los Santos, that's going to be interesting because Valenzuela is the up-and-coming fighter.
Yes.
But de los Santos has punching power.
He does.
So
an 81% knockout percentage.
Can he pass this test? That's going to be very interesting, and put Valenzuela, you know, with the big boys then in that division.
Well, initially Valenzuela was supposed to fight the former super featherweight champion of the world from Panama, Cesare Corrales. Corrales with the knockout percentage of just 37%. And there you see Garnica getting a nice sign of respect and cheers from the fan base that made their way from the Bay Area in Oakland here to Southern California. But you know what's going to be very interesting to see how Valenzuela adapts. He's led by Jose Benavidez Sr., the father of David Benavidez, the super middleweight champion, as well as Jose Benavidez Jr., who most recently came up short against Danny Garcia at the end of July at Barclays Center. So very interesting to see what we are able to witness out of Jose Valenzuela, a late replacement in the Dominican Republic's own Edwin de los Santos. That our first pay-per-view fight of the night at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific time.
Now, those are the prime jewels that Benavidez' father has. Of course, David and Valenzuela here. This kid from Seattle, but trained by Benavidez' father. So we're going to see that tonight. Garnica, he looks to have the victory. At least he thinks so right now.
And listen, without a doubt, Felix, the fight with Andy Ruiz and Luis Ortiz, I think, is going to be just bananas and just wild. That it's well worth the price of the pay-per-view alone. That one fight, you're going to be like, oh my goodness, you're going to want to replay it over and over and over again. So guess what? Order the pay-per-view, set your DVR so that you can rewind it and watch it over again, because it is going to be tremendous and seesaw action. But the scorecards are in. Anthony Garnica, Juan Lopez. We send it up to ring announcer. Here's Miguel Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds of boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Pam Hayashida saw the contest 57-57, a draw. However, she was overruled as Judges Sergio Caiz and Judge David Sullivan both saw it 59-55 for your winner by majority decision, Anthony Garnica.
So Anthony Garnica, majority decision. There were some tense moments here for the undefeated 22-year-old prospect in Anthony Garnica.
Yeah, tie or what?
Well,
it's interesting. That's how boxing goes sometimes. It's judges, but I thought Garnica's had a nice showing.
yeah, the right guy won. Alfredo Osuna, Team Ruiz 1-0 so far. Will they be able to go 2-0 later tonight with Andy Ruiz and Luis King Kong Ortiz? Very easy to buy the pay-per-view. Scan your phone to buy the pay-per-view. Get yourself ready to go. In just over 2 hours, we come your way live from Crypto.com Arena here in Los Angeles. Felix, let's run down the card one more time. By all means, we'll start off with our first pay-per-view fight. I will allow you to do the honors, my friend.
Well, Jose Valenzuela against Edwin de los Santos. We already talked about this. Valenzuela, the up-and-coming prize fighter for the Benavidez family, well-known. He's 12-0 against Edwin de los Santos, a late replacement, but has punching power. So that fight, you have to tune in to see if de los Santos catches Valenzuela with something, and he's tested.
Yeah,
so
Valenzuela said he wants to fight the best in the division, but in order for him to do that, he's got to get past Edwin de los Santos and not win easy. He's got to win in grand fashion.
Definitely. De los Santos, who 14-1, 13 KOs, so he's going to be a tough opponent to Valenzuela. Valenzuela hasn't seen a lot of him, as we haven't seen a lot of de los Santos. So what does he have to offer? We'll see it shortly.
And also we got Abner Mares, the return of the 3-division world champion, back inside the ring for the first time in over 4 years. He'll take on Miguel Flores. Miguel Flores coming off of a victory. Our co-main event, a WBC lightweight title eliminator, Isaac Cruz and Eduardo Ramirez. 2 Mexicans fighting here in Los Angeles with a lightweight world title shot on the line. That one is going to be all action. And then our main event of the evening, two heavy power punchers. The former unified heavyweight champion of the world, the only fighter of Mexican descent to capture the heavyweight championship of the world, Andy Ruiz Jr. steps inside the ring against Luis King Kong Ortiz. Ortiz trying to become the first Cuban to capture the heavyweight championship of the world. He's got to get past Andy Ruiz Jr. in order to try to challenge for the heavyweight championship of the world on a third occasion. Felix, thanks so much, my friend, and I will see you coming up top of the hour on FS1. On behalf of Felix DeJesus, I'm Ray Flores, and our producer, Sam Rubinoff. I'm Ray Flores. Thank you so much. Join us for the pay-per-view, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific time. But bonus action coming your way on FS1. Ruiz Salim and Mike Plania, top of the hour on FS1. Then 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific time, Joey Spencer and Kevin Salgado. 2 fights for free on Fox and FS1. 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific time on pay-per-view. Andy Ruiz, Luis Ortiz. Someone's getting knocked out. Give them a pillow and a blanket, because this one will be special. So long from Los Angeles.